In Lesson 6.3, we're solving multi-step inequalities. We will solve linear inequalities involving more than one operation and solve linear inequalities involving the distributive property. They ask the question, how are linear inequalities used in science? The boiling point of a substance is the temperature at which the element changes from a liquid to a gas. The boiling point of chlorine is negative 31 degrees Fahrenheit. That means chlorine will be a gas for all temperatures greater than negative 31 degrees Fahrenheit. It F represents the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. The inequality F is greater than negative 31 represents temperatures for which chlorine is a gas. If C represents the degrees in Celsius, then F equals 9/5 C plus 32. You can solve 9/5 C plus 32 is greater than 31 to find temperatures in degrees Celsius for which chlorine is a gas. To solve that inequality, we'd want to undo plus 32, so subtract 32 from both sides of the equation. So we have 9/5 C is greater than negative 63. And this isn't going to come out very even. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is going to be 5/9. Oh, I guess 9 will go into 63. Canceling, I have C is greater than negative 7 times 5 would be negative 35. So for all temperatures greater than negative 35 degrees Celsius, chlorine is a gas. The inequality F is greater than 212 represents the temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit for which water is a gas. We call that steam. Similarly, the inequality 9/5 C plus 32 is greater than 212 represents the temperatures in degrees Celsius for which water is a gas. Find the temperatures in degrees Celsius for which water is a gas. So to undo plus 32, we would subtract 32 from both sides of the equation. And I get 9/5 C is greater than 180. And we can cancel. And the 9 cancels conveniently with the 180. So I get C is greater than 100, which we already knew that. The boiling point of water in Celsius is a nice number. It's 100. To undo the 13, so we can solve, we're going to subtract 13 from both sides of the inequality. So I have negative 11D is greater than or equal to 66. When we divide both sides by negative 11, we have to remember our magic trick there. We have to reverse our inequality. 66 divided by negative 11 is negative 6. And it says then check. Number less than negative 6, how about negative 7? So 13, negative times negative, so be plus 77. Is it greater than or equal to 79? So that'd be 90. Why, yes, it is. Next, they want us to write an inequality for the sentence below, then solve. 4 times a number plus 12 is less than a number minus 3. So here they are translating it to an algebraic expression for us. 4 times a number we write as 4n, plus is plus. 12 is less than a number minus 3, so they used n for the variable, so n minus 3. So when we go to solve, we have 4n plus 12 is greater than n minus 3. First thing we need to do is get our variable on one side, so I'm going to subtract n from both sides. So now we have 3n plus 12 is less than negative 3. Subtract 12 from both sides of the inequality. So 3n is less than negative 15. Divide by 3, and we get n is less than negative 5. Remember, we don't need to move the inequality around this time because we were dividing by a positive. The negative was already sitting there. Now we get to solve using the distributive property. Remember, if there's not a number written, we can always put a 1 in if it makes us happy. So if I distribute that negative 1, I'd have negative c minus 3 is less than or equal to 6c plus 3 times 2 is 6, and then minus 3c. Combining like terms, 8 minus 3 is 5, and 6c minus 3c is 3c. Then I want to get my variable on one side. Subtract 3c from both sides. So 5 minus 4c is less than or equal to 6. Subtract 5 from both sides of the inequality. I have negative 4c is less than or equal to 1. Finally, divide both sides by negative 4. And I'm going to have c is greater than or equal to negative 1/4 because I reversed my inequality. A nice check on this one would be c equals 0 is a little bit bigger than negative 1/4. So I'd have 8 minus 0 plus 3 is 3. Is it less than or equal to 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 times 2 minus 0 is 2. So is 5 less than or equal to 6? Sure enough. And we're distributing again. So negative 7s minus 28 plus 11s is greater than or equal to 8s minus 4s minus 2. Let's combine our like terms. So negative 7 plus 11 would be 4s minus 28 is greater than or equal to 8s minus 4s is 4s minus 2. Oh, when we subtract 4s from both sides, we end up with negative 28 is greater than or equal to negative 2, which is not the case, so that is a no solution. Let's look at one more. I'm going to distribute the negative 3. So 3 minus 3b plus 6 is less than 13. Distribute minus 3b. Negative times negative is plus 18. Combine our like terms. 6 plus 3 is 9 minus 3b is less than 13 plus 18 is 31. When I add 3b to both sides, I get 9 is less than 31. Well, sure enough, it is. So this is the opposite of the last one. That's why I pulled this one in. This one's going to be all real numbers. So summing it up, multi-step inequalities can be solved by undoing the operations. Remember to reverse the inequality sign when multiplying or dividing each side by a negative number. When solving equations that contain grouping symbols, first use the distributive property to remove the grouping symbols.